Hey everyone, welcome to Lucky Dogs episode 15. It's also probably our finale for the season, and what a grand final it was, eh? There's Swill. You've actually got your nickname back, the Swill.
Yeah, it was a pretty big grand final, that's for sure. You've flown from Adelaide up to Brisbane to fly to America, and I'm currently in my hotel room on Tuesday morning doing the podcast from Adelaide, and I'll fly back to Brisbane this afternoon. So had the gala last night, so you had an early flight, but I had a couple of beers, so I feel a little bit dusty this morning, but we thought we've got to get this podcast out, so we'll get it done. So yeah, no, it was good.
And for everyone listening at home, words can't describe how dusty Will actually is right now.
Not that bad. I
But it
wouldn't
was
be
an
on the
action,
podcast if I was that bad.
yeah, but it's actually an action-packed weekend. Probably start off with you. I got an interesting message from you. I think was it on the Wednesday? You sent me a message.
Yeah, well, I think me and Ains were talking, and Ains came up with it that instead of doing the paying people off with brown paper bags like money, we'll do a message to everyone and act like we're being super nice and see what they respond with. And I think everyone knew what we were doing straight away. So I think there was only two people, and that was Bryce and Reynolds that actually replied seriously, thinking that it was a full serious message. So that was pretty funny. But yeah, just wanted to have a joke with it, and you know, oh, you want to have some fun, I guess. The finals has been pretty serious, so wanted to crack some jokes and make a few laughs, but it definitely didn't get me any friends, I don't think, though, that message.
Who was the funniest reply you got?
I think Cooper's was pretty good because he was just joking around. I knew he was. And then I thought Reynolds's was really funny because he was serious. And it was quite a funny response because he goes to me later, I thought you were just sending me a nice message. So uh, that was pretty funny. But yeah, like I say, just having a bit of banter. It's definitely a serious weekend. This new finals format is crazy, as you know. And yeah, I just thought we'll have a little bit of a joke and see where it goes. So that was me heading into the weekend. And another thing heading into the weekend was our sponsored driver, Elliot Cleary. So that livery suited the Lucky Dogs podcast logo perfectly.
It did actually. It had the black base car with the red stripes on it and the big lucky dogs on the bonnet. So um yeah, I think it was a good pairing. How did it
Yep.
go, Ains?
Good question. I'm just trying to find out.
I think
I
he
think the first race he was, where are we? We're trying to find it.
I think, as he joked, his qualifyings were like mine; they were shit. But then in the races, he was going all right. But no, it was good to see him. I think he's been out for a while, so he's actually had
He has been.
season, broke his hand, hasn't been able to race. So it looked like he was moving forward each weekend. So good on him. It was good to support another young guy. That's
Yeah,
oh
15th and 11th.
yeah, well, that's good moving forward.
Well, this didn't have his weekend going backwards, sort of like mine.
Yeah. You started really strong and then just fell from grace.
Oh, yeah, like Townsville again.
Oh,
Well,
that's funny.
should we
Well,
get stuck into Friday? There was a lot of action on Friday, including qualifying. You did your normal thing, I think, didn't you, on the Friday?
yeah, I think I was 12th on Friday. So I finished 12th, which was, once again, it was like a tenth or less than a tenth. Actually, I think it was 600ths that would have got me through to the top 10. So pretty disappointed not to make the top 10 again with all three of the other guys in the finals making it. So that was really annoying. Yeah, it was I guess going over the whole weekend, like it was a long weekend, doing a practice session on Thursday. That was pretty late on Thursday, and then yeah, that Friday qualifying, and then a race. But yeah, I just didn't have the best qualifying. 12th again, which was pretty disappointing. But yeah, what were you? You were pretty far up.
Well, I was. Well, it sort of depends because it was the different format of qualifying on the Friday. It was the top 10, instead our normal knockout format is 18, then 10, then a shootout. And then that was like straight into 10, and then the 10 go out all on track at once type thing. So can't remember where I was in the first bit, but in the second bit, I was on for pole, and then Andre dropped his guts in front of me. in qualifying, and then I went head on into the wall again. I
Oh, that
was,
was that was a pretty crazy session. I remember like everyone was just popping to the top, and yeah, I remember just looking up and I just see you just sliding for the fence and just straight nose in, and I was like, oh no! But luckily, it didn't do too much damage apart from your bonnet popping up down the straight, and you couldn't even see where you were going.
to be honest, yeah, like I knew what lap I was on for because I run the lap gain loss, and I knew it was going to be pole. And I saw the flag because you know how they had the little light panels for the flags. I saw
Yeah.
the little light panel for the flag with the like oil down flag or whatever it is. And I looked down at my relative and went, nah, I gotta try finish this. Yeah. Didn't work out so well.
Yeah, yeah. But I think Waters came round after you and locked up as well. He didn't hit the fence, but he ran pretty wide there as well. And it was random because he came around the last corner and then Andre's car's on the inside and Andre's standing outside the car. It was just a random
Yeah.
moment.
Well, there was no like yellow flag. It was just the oil down flag. So it was a bit, I don't know, like a little bit weird, but yeah, I obviously hit the fence but you know, I was thinking about the 50 grand, you know, that was up for grabs on the Friday. So I wasn't really too bothered, but yeah, all the boys and girls at Shall Play Racing got the car fixed, and you know the race was wet, and that was a hectic race in itself, hey? Oh gosh, and you got spun around.
Yeah, I was like, it started raining, and I actually thought that might be good for us after how quick we were at Sandown. I thought, oh, this might be actually good if it rains and get to a standstill start and hopefully pick a few off. And then, yeah, obviously Randall got me down at turn 9, spun me round, and I was like, far out. We just can't do a trick right. And once again, it's probably a little bit our own fault for qualifying so average. You put yourself in those scenarios, but yeah, I was pretty disappointed to get turned around and then thought it was all over, and somehow I got back to ninth in like 15 laps or something like that. A lot of people pitted, and then obviously it went time certain red flag. So yeah, that was interesting. But to get back up to ninth was really good. At least it kept us in the hunt with Kai. I think we finished pretty close to him. I think he was fifth or something like that. So he didn't jump us in the points, but unfortunately it meant that Chaz and Brock both gained more points. And to be honest, it's one of those things that I didn't think that the 35 points Brock had over me or the 20 that Chaz had over me is a lot of points, but it's actually a fair few points in those sort of scenarios in those last rounds. Like it can really help you win it or not. So when I came 10th in that one and lost about another 25 points to Brock, I thought it's going to be pretty hard this weekend now to claw my way back because they sort of need to have something go wrong. Like even if Brock had 2/3 and I had 2 firsts, I probably wouldn't have got to him. So yeah, it was yeah, it felt like we're on the back foot straight away, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I thought obviously the point sort of reset for the top four again, and it was I guess scaled from first to fourth with a spread like you said, but um yeah, boy, Chaz did a really good job on the Friday again. He had a lot of pace. Obviously, I you know won the race, but I felt like he was just doing what he had to do. That kind of makes sense to he knew he was in front of Brock, and he knew that I was quite fast and was going to be quite aggressive. So he just took sort of minimal risk and took that race win. So that was pretty good to see. But that do you remember when it started bucketing down?
Oh, it was ridiculous. It started bucketing down, and I literally broke for turn 8. And I'm like, I got to break a little bit earlier than Randall does. And then Randall just understeers. And I'm like, oh no, he's going in. He's going to bounce out of the fence and take me out. He'll get me twice in one race. But luckily, he didn't bounce back across the track and get me. So I was super lucky there. But yeah, that rain came down so quick and it was so slippery. Like turn 8 to try and get through there. I think if Randall didn't crash, I reckon probably 4 or 5 cars would have crashed at turn 8 on the next lap because it was just coming down that quick. You were just aquaplaning in the end.
Yeah, so apparently, in February they put some sort of seal or treatment down in that section of the track. So for I guess everyone listening and was watching the race, the majority of the track was actually pretty good. Hey, like
Yeah.
when it was wet, it was pretty normal. Like it was, the track decreasing grip at a rate that would be normal. But I remember going through turn 8 when it started bucketing down, and I got 2 lock lights when I broke.
Yeah, right.
And Chaz said to me after the race, he's like, mate, you were taking some big risks through 8. But I didn't really think I was. But yeah, I guess you don't know till you know that, yeah, hanging on a fence like Randall was.
Oh,
And
that's
then,
right.
obviously he pushed the wall back like 5 meters. It cracked a concrete block, which is why they actually couldn't get the race back restarted. Did you know that?
I
So
didn't know that.
apparently they were considering restarting the race, and but they couldn't because the track was deemed unsafe by MA. Is what I believe is true. So yeah, it's interesting that they're looking to go back racing again, which I think's kind of cool. But I would have been shitting myself if we
Yeah.
did.
Oh, you could, yeah. The problem is we hadn't been running around, so the water was standing still and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one with the Chaz thing. Like I saw some people kind of bagging, saying he let you go, but you just got to do that in those scenarios. Like I know some people were saying like the new finals format that it allows for that to happen. Like Chaz will just let you go, so he gets done what he has to. But obviously, in his scenario, you're always going to let someone like you probably go in those wet conditions to make sure that you don't take any risk. All he had to do was beat Brock and get more points, and he puts himself in a good position for the rest of the weekend. So I thought it was pretty smart what he did there by just letting that go. And I thought it was pretty lucky that none of the top four in the championship actually ended up in the fence in that race.
Yeah, definitely. And I think apparently on the radio too, they were, when I was talking to his engineer, Scaff, afterwards, they basically just said, they were like, not yelling at him on the radio, but when I got close, they're just like, let him go, or something like that.
Yeah, they
So,
probably had deja vu to last year when they were telling him to, and Brock was there and turned him. They're probably like, no, just let him go, make sure of it.
yeah, I actually forgot that actually, yeah, true, actually, that did happen last year. It's funny how the roles are reversed this year, but yeah, what Randall's crash was obviously was quite big. Did I'm actually surprised they got that thing back out the next day, to be
Oh,
honest.
yeah. Yeah, just turn eight's just one of those corners, but it did move the wall a long way. He just went in on such a, generally you deflect off, but he kind of went in so straight. Like he was just, yeah,
It was like it was like my incident with Kai, almost like with it just looked like he was accelerating into the fence, except I accelerated up Kai's bum, but but just the way that when the car's aquaplane was quite crazy. So, but
yeah,
no, it was cool for myself to win the 50 grand,
yeah.
which
Do you
was
reckon
nice.
that,
So,
what are you going to do with it? Do you get it
uh,
or does the team get
no one gets the 50, no drivers get 50 grand. Let's all be honest.
it? No, that's a funny thing. They put up 50 grand and reckon that everyone's going to go crazy. And it's like, you want your team to win the money 100%, but the money's not going into our pocket.
Yeah, but just the way the way it gets announced, it's like, oh, the driver wins 50 grand, but yeah, we don't get it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's like one of those things. Like, I guess when you win the boost polls and stuff, I'm sure you got stuff in your contract about it where it all goes back to the team that they award us with the check. It's, I don't know, it's a bit weird. It's a lot different than in NASCAR, prize money split 50-50, or that they negotiate the split. So maybe that's something we're gonna change for the future.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's pretty cool. Like, it'd be cool to have a couple of prize money races throughout the year, like for big ones, like even Bathurst. It'd be awesome if they could get a sponsor to put up a bit of, like, it's such a big race. It's cool in NASCAR when they do that sort of stuff, because that's not, I'm not saying to do it because, so it goes to us, but it's just a cool talking point, I think. And that was interesting for the Friday race. But yeah, I don't know. It was, yeah, for me, I felt like doom and gloom on Friday night, but had to come back Saturday and do it all over again.
Yeah, then you almost remembered how to qualify again.
Almost, not quite,
Yeah.
but I almost did.
I know you almost did. So you made some big progress there. How'd you do it on the Saturday?
Well, I don't know. I was pretty happy with my car. Like, but to be honest, I still wasn't like, last year we'd go first, second, third in some of the qualifyings and that sort of stuff, where I was still always in that like seventh place sort of region, which is a hard spot to be in because if you make one little mistake, you're definitely out. Like you don't have the speed just to make a little mistake and get through. So, yeah, I was sort of just sitting around that seventh. So qualified, eighth. Oh no, sixth. Sorry, sixth on
Yeah, that's it.
Saturday. So that was pretty good, and I think I ended up going fifth in the shootout. So I was pretty happy with that, to be honest. I obviously would like to be better. Would have liked to start up the front on the first two rows to really make a race of it, but I was stoked to finally be in a shootout, and it was quite funny. I walked into the garage and everyone was celebrating, like cheering for me getting in a shootout. And I was like, it's pretty sad when people are cheering like you've got pole position just to get in a shootout. Like I was like, that's That's a little bit disappointing, but I can understand why. It's been a lot of rounds since we've been in the top 10. I think I was working out before, like we missed it at Tailem Bend, Bathurst,
You were in a Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, but I crashed.
Yeah. So
So it was, yeah, it's just been a tough run of qualifyings, but really good race pace. But it actually changed the other way. But another thing of that day was obviously Chaz missing the shootout, which was a pretty big thing.
Yeah, I saw apparently the nut fell off the starter or something, so the wire was loose on the starter. So
Oh, right.
yeah, they apparently couldn't start it because obviously the nut came off, and then they got it started back again. And did you see they sat the fans in the motor and just let the motor idle for like 6 minutes while everyone did their first run with the fans on because they were scared to turn it off because it wouldn't start again. And
Yeah,
then
right.
they just had all the fans in it to keep it cool. And then they sent him out for his last run. And I think he made a little mistake at 4 and just missed the shootout. So I only just scraped in as well, which was quite annoying. But that's the way the ball goes sometimes. I actually thought you were getting a bit allergic to shootouts somehow. You were getting like an allergy or something to it, but it's good to see you actually made a shootout.
Yeah, it was exactly when I needed to make a shootout as well. So I wanted to start up there. But yeah, I bet you for Chaz in that moment, he thought, oh shit, I haven't even got a chance here. So it's amazing how this new finals format is so up and down. Like there's highs and lows, and you think you're out, you think you're in. And I'm sure Chaz, when he qualified 12th, then he's like, oh, Feeney's on pole. You know, how are we going to win this? How are we going to get up there in the points and even have a chance for Sunday? So yeah, it was pretty interesting. You sort of dropped off. What happened to you on Saturday?
We just lost performance from Friday to Saturday, so it's been a bit of an ongoing thing for us. And yeah, Sunday we found it again. Last in, I was back to how it should have been. But yeah, just we just have to fix up a few things in the off season to be more consistent and more competitive throughout the year. So we just weren't good enough.
Yeah.
Just simple as that.
It's amazing how much these cars change quickly, though. Like it seems like it's quite hard to get them in a really good window. Like if you get them in, it's obviously good, but it's easy to sort of get them in and out of that window. And you do see people some days qualifying really good and the next day not as good. So it's really interesting. But yeah, I thought you were after Friday. I was like, oh, Brodie's going to be on here. He was that fast. He'll be hard to beat this weekend. And then you're sort of like, what were you on Saturday?
Well, I just scraped into the shootout on Saturday, like literally by the skin of my teeth.
Yeah.
And I was in the shootout, and that's when the track was covered in oil, or I don't know, antifreeze. And I went out, and I started my lap, and I'm like, something's considerably wrong here. And through the staircase, it was covered in oil. So I was the first one through it. So I went straight into the fence, of course, at turn 5 again for, the second time on the weekend where I've just hit a fence. Our third time, actually, because I went at turn 8 in practice. And yeah, I did my lap. It was like 3 seconds off the pace and did my interview and said the track was covered in shit. So yeah, it was pretty annoying, but that's how it goes sometimes, and that's what happens when you're 10th and you're not good enough. That's just it's called the snowball effect. So we just weren't good enough, and that's what happens.
Yeah, no, that's right. I think, yeah, the hardest part, Saturday, yeah, you want to qualify a lot further up in the shoot in qualifying, so you're the last one to run in the shootout because all this track activity before us, like Aussie cars, Trans Am, and all that, there seems to always be crashes or something that goes on that really sort of oil gets dropped or the tires don't put down bad rubber that you really struggle if you're one of the first 2-3 cars out, and then it starts to grip up and get better. So that oil down, I didn't even notice it was down, and then I saw you go out and just get a big lose the rear and hit the fence, and I was like, oh, far out, and then worked out obviously there was a lot of oil down, and I think the problem with me is I think it cleaned up a bit by the time I got there, like a fair bit, but I thought it was going to be worse. So I went a bit soft and a bit narrow, and yeah, I think I can't even remember what I ended. I think was it 5th?
Yeah, you were fifth wait, fourth or fifth?
Yeah, I think I was 5th, but yeah, I just underdrove it pretty much. I watched everyone else and I thought, oh yeah, it's going to be so loose through there, and it actually gripped up by then. And I think Brock ended up going and doing like a 19.9, which was 5/10 quicker than the whole field. So
But still like a second off.
yeah, well that's right. It is still a second off. So I don't know if everyone was a little bit conservative or from the oil, which caught him out.
But one thing was Aaron Cameron making the shootout.
Yeah, that was impressive. I thought that
It
was good.
was.
Yeah.
It was. It was like, you know, I remember. Do you remember when you had your first, I'd say not shootout, but your first top, like where you were like in the front for a qualifying session, and like I feel like it just builds momentum for, for sort of what's to come. And he's always done pretty well in everything he's driven, so I was pretty happy for him. Saw him before the race and said good luck, and yeah. Yeah, obviously the start between them two was pretty crazy. Did you see him go through turn one and turn two? He was not going to give it up.
See, I thought it was amazing because you think of someone in his situation, you're like, is he just going to try and bank a result, get a top 5, 6, and just, let a few people go if they have a crack at him? And then I love his determination. He didn't get the best start. Like Brock was kind of half a car length ahead of him and he just bombed it around the outside at one through the gravel. He was in the lead, which is something that, I don't know, I think like Brock had some points on the weekend. He was obviously unhappy that everyone kept doing that because you're starting from pole and the outside line is now nearly
Is
there.
preferred.
Is preferred, yeah. And apparently last year what they said is that Chaz got away with it because he said, oh, you didn't leave room for him, you pushed him off. But how do you leave room there? You know what I mean? Like the guys on the outside now every year are just going to take the piss and run around the outside, and then pretty
Well,
much,
because the problem is, Will, is that you can't police that and then not police other corners where people just get ran off the track.
yeah.
Like there's been so many instances this year where it's been, okay, if you're on the outside, it's your fault type thing. So that's the precedent that got set. So they can't change it now.
But what do? Do you just send it in off pole so hard that they end up in the fence, or you just let them go around the outside every time?
Well, you just need to push them out further so they're in the gravel.
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah. So that was interesting. But Brock, I think only got I don't even think he got one start on the weekend from pole, did he?
No, but also like to be honest, I don't think there's been many starts from pole at Adelaide where it's been great because you're on the dirty side of the road and it's a street circuit.
Yeah, that's true. Does help being on the clean side of the road, that's for sure there.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really too sure. I got better starts when I was on the outside than I was on the inside from the weekend. So
Yeah.
there's that factor too. But what about Aaron? Obviously was in the lead, got passed by Woody, and then stuck it in the fence at turn three.
Poor bugger. He was actually, I was like, God, this guy is wheeling it. Like he is up on the wheel and he's having a crack. I was pretty impressed. And then he just in front of me and Brock, he just comes through turn 3 and got a massive tank slapper and fenced it. And I felt sorry for him in that moment because I was like, oh, he's doing such a good job. He was like, Woody was struggling to get past him. Brock was struggling to get past him. I was like, this is pretty impressive. But the poor bugger, I think he just, a little bit of a rookie mistake, but it was still cool to see him up there. I think, I was pretty impressed with how fast Woody was again. Like Woody has been backing it up week in, week out. Like he was nearly the form Walkinshaw car again.
I think he was the fastest car on Sunday as well. So Saturday was obviously really quick, but they a lot of people actually don't know this, but when he let Chaz back through, they actually did have a fuel issue that race. So because they were asking us for parts and um vice versa before the race and even after the race as well. So they definitely had something going on, but I don't know how much of it was actually let him by and actually a fuel issue. You don't really know, but they definitely did have a fuel issue.
Yeah, I think you just let him go. Like I agree, there might have been a fuel issue or something like that, but at the end of the day, they're always going to switch those positions to make sure Chaz got enough points. And Chaz came from 12th to second, kept the fight going with Brock after obviously not a great qualifying. So that was pretty impressive because I find this new tyre quite hard to pass on. I find that it just overheats when you get behind someone and I really struggle with it.
Yeah, well, the problem is everyone thought it was going to be great to be ragging it and all that sort of stuff, but the tire almost gets faster at like as the fuel burns off because it's got no deg, it gets faster the more you keep running, almost to a point on average. So it's quite hard to do much with strategy, I think, at the moment. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been some tracks where the tire's good, but I think some of the best races this year have been on the old tire, which is quite funny.
Yeah, I think the old tyre's a better race tyre to actually create some strategy and all that sort of stuff. But even Kai, I think Kai pitted like 8 laps later than me and came out only 2 or 3 seconds behind me and I was able to hold him up for the rest of the stint. Like usually if you had 8-lap better tyres or 6-lap better tyres back in the day with the old tyre, you'd just blaze past them like so I think that made for better racing where I was just able to heat up Kai's tyres, hold him behind and sort of make it work. He bumped me a few times and we're into it. It was pretty good racing by him. We nearly ended up doing what Woody and Brock obviously did on Saturday, when me and Kai got into it. And then Anton ran up over the back of Kai, and I thought far out Kai's going to have some damage here. But yeah, he got away with that one. But that was pretty cool to have the 4 finalists in the top 5. So Woody was the only other car there. And Kai, obviously being a rookie, I thought at some stage throughout these finals he'd have a tough round, like
He
maybe
didn't.
a bit of inexperienced, but he was solid. Like he was fast on the weekend.
Yeah, he was very, very fast. So, yeah, and went to show Matt finally. I guess they worked out what they need to do, and he sort of dominated the Sunday. He was quite fast, but yeah, I couldn't believe the run that Kai went on was pretty incredible. So, kudos to
Well,
him, rookie year. Um, yeah, pretty amazing, really, when you think about it.
well, when you think about it, he only got in because Brock passed Andre in the last lap, 2 corners to
Yeah,
go up Bathurst. And Kai would have been 11th if Brock didn't do that. And then Kai's got the whole way through from 10th in the championship through to 4th. And he was actually like super competitive on the weekend. If anything went wrong, he could have been well and truly in the hunt to get a championship. So that was pretty impressive. So yeah, he's definitely done a fantastic job in that period.
yeah, a lot of pressure too. Like you said, those moments with like Andre and stuff. He's basically had a gun to his head the whole time and made through the final 4, and put himself in a spot to have a chance to win the championship, which is pretty crazy to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine if you could have bet on that at the start of the year. Wonder what he would have been then.
Oh well, we can't do any of that, can we, Will?
No, we can't. That's right.
Looking to take your ride to the next level? Wheel Pros Australia has you covered. With the biggest range of performance wheels, tyres, and accessories, they bring the world's most iconic brands right to your driveway. From Fuel Off-Road and KMC to Rotiform and American Racing. Whether you're chasing off-road toughness, street performance, or that perfect show-stopping style, Wheel Pros has the gear to match. Don't just drive, stand out. Visit wheelpros.com.au today and find the perfect fit for your car.
But one thing on Saturday was Brock's engine.
Yeah, I heard about this. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't debriefed with the team yet to know exactly what went wrong there. I know he thought that he was having like a gear shift cut problem, but obviously it was more of like a misfire or something going on, which happened for like the first. I didn't realize he had it because, to be honest, he was in front of me and he wasn't losing any time. So I didn't actually realize he had a misfire, but I was chatting with them after the race and they said he had a misfire for like 10 laps at the start of the race, and then it actually ended up clearing itself and not coming back, which, as we all know with electrical things, generally that doesn't happen. Usually it just gets worse. So that was interesting. I was very surprised that happened. So yeah, he obviously ended up finishing Saturday's race and winning it and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm guessing, like I say, I haven't debriefed with them, but I'm guessing it was the same gremlin that actually caught him
It
out.
was
So,
it was the crank angle sensor. So apparently there's been a few little issues with them. I guess I was talking to Kenny and I asked what it was, and it's common that sometimes they fail, but they said they had them start failing like repetitively
yep.
in the last sort of couple of months, which is kind of interesting. But it probably couldn't have been a crank angle sensor after they changed it back to a different one, and the problem still came back. So it has to be a wiring issue. So, and a lot of a lot of these things happen. It's like the engines are quite old now, so the wiring loom on the motor, like the engine loom, could be quite old now. And when I say quite old, 2 seasons, but 2 seasons in a race car is quite a lot for for a wiring loom. So, or it could have been something on the car side. And I know that you guys were meant to build new cars for the start of this year, but didn't, because obviously you're swapping to Ford. So it's just how things roll sometimes.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. Like we've really, yeah, the team always builds pretty faultless cars. Like I don't think they've had any dramas throughout the year. And then the final race of the year, or the final 2 races of the year, you end up having those things. So unfortunately you can't pick it. And this is this new finals format. You can do the best job for the year and not win the championship. So it's a crazy new format. But yeah, it was interesting. I think it was obviously very disappointing for the team. to have those problems and not be able to fix them, because I feel like, you know, it being an underlying thing from Saturday, I think they're probably pretty disappointed about that. But yeah, it was interesting. Well, I guess going on to Sunday, that was pretty much when all their action was going on. So I think I was like 70.
We got to go back to Saturday, I think, Will, though.
Yep.
With Chaz on Randall and then on Austin, and then on the front of his car, smashing it and not losing it. Like, that was a pretty big deal as well.
Yeah, that was Chaz hit everything out there, I think. He was running into a lot of things. So, yeah, obviously, Randall, I don't know if that was Thomas's fault, really.
No,
Yeah,
that wasn't Thomas's fault.
like, Chaz locked up and ran wide, and then Thomas has just sort of taken his line, and yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but obviously it was so wet from all the rain on that little bit of grass that it just pushed Chaz straight into the fence. So he was lucky he didn't get any damage there. He might have got a bent wheel or something like that. But then, yeah, he hit very easy to hit the tyre bundle at turn one and break your splitter, which he did. And yeah, I was waiting for him to do a U, Brodie. I was following him, and it was just flapping underneath the car really bad, and I was like, oh, this is not going to end well.
Yeah, well, I think yeah, the splitters on those things seem to break quite easy compared to the GM ones as well. So yeah, I couldn't believe the pace he had with the splitter like that. That is just crazy. So it kind of disregards a lot of comments that another podcaster made um, at GC after my deal, because yeah, his one hung on, and yeah, I guess he didn't hit the bundle again, and it just hung on to finish the race like that. And he was obviously so fast because he went from 12th to second, and he did that on lap 10, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that is like, and I actually saw him when he passed me. I saw him hit the tie bundle again, and I'm like, far out, you're playing fire here. Like, it's gonna end up, something's gonna break worse. But I was quite surprised by that. The other thing was, like, they kept giving that, like, which was fair. They give a bad sportsmanship flag for cutting the curbs, but they were literally giving them out on lap 15, and then nobody was getting a 5-second penalty, and people were still cutting. Like, they didn't really, like, which is fair, but they didn't really give any out for the weekend, where I think a fair few people were curb hopping.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird because I reckon the weekend started off with the sensors being quite sensitive. Do you
Yeah.
agree? Like early in practice, and then I reckon they got less sensitive as it went on, which is
Yeah,
kind
like,
of a
when I
bit.
watched the shootout a couple of times, I was like, "Oh, that."
There's four wheels over the curb, like
Yeah.
100%.
I felt like other years that generally if you were doing that, you'd get a curb hop, so maybe they just loosened it off a little bit to, who knows, maybe not, but it felt like we could cut it a little bit more through there, but it's very hard because you don't know how much really. But yeah, that was pretty interesting, but yeah, Chaz definitely got lucky on Saturday. So he needed a few things to go his way.
Yeah, definitely.
Even
And
with
then there was
Austin.
obviously, yeah, the Austin and Chaz. Did you see that? Welcome to Australia.
No, I didn't see that. What?
Well, another thing too, they weren't giving up blue flags again. Um, they always give out blue flags for the leaders because it's good for TV. But anyone else that's in the race that's trying to race, they never give out blue flags for people that are lap down, because apparently they don't know who's on what strategy, which is just, I find it pretty bullshit, to be honest. But um, yeah, so I don't think Austin had blue flags. So I'm sure his team were telling him what was going on, or maybe he was just hanging on for dear life. No one really knows.
Yeah, I think Chaz was behind me at this stage or something, because I remember looking and I had to pass Austin, and then like, oh, Chaz might get held up a little bit, and he lost a fair bit of time, but I didn't actually see the incident, so I'll have to go back and watch that, because yeah, that'll be interesting. Poor old Austin, like, it was good for him to come out and have a crack though. Like, he
Yeah, he
didn't.
did. I think he enjoyed his weekend, just like getting the experience, and he did a good job of not fencing it because it's quite easy to do there. Let's
Yeah,
be honest. I mean, plenty of us did it. Like I did it in practice. I stuck it in at 8, and yeah, to just do all the laps and the experience that he would have got would have been incredible, because you think about the amount of laps that we got when we did the cup stuff. It's not really that many. Like it's like
yeah,
15 minutes of practice and then one race, and then you're going home. And he got 3 practice sessions, 3 qualifying sessions, different weather, different conditions, and did all the laps. So he would have got heaps of road course miles under his belt, which would have been good for him.
yeah, definitely. I thought, like you say, like, regardless of the times and all that sort of stuff. And to be honest, I think he was, times were actually pretty good for jumping straight in. But yeah, like you say, to not crash I was pretty impressed with that because I thought something would catch him out on the weekend. Even a crash through the staircase, just something small. So easy to do with how edgy these cars are and hard to drive. So yeah, I was pretty impressed by that.
Well, he actually out-qualified Waters on the Sunday.
Was out.
So
Sorry, guys. One more for Austin. The predictions we did, I reckon it was the first or second episode.
Yep.
Can you remember what they were?
I cannot remember. Do you know what they are?
I think you said you'd be surprised if you did better than 15th or 20th, maybe. I have to go back and listen.
yeah.
So you're right.
I think it's a big call for anyone to jump in a supercar, no matter what they've done, and run top 20 on a weekend right now with how competitive it is. Like, look, like I qualified outside the 10. Well, I have a lot of times lately. Brodie qualified outside the 10 on the weekend. Like, it's just a super competitive series right now. Like, there's no bad teams. Like you used to say, and not being disrespectful to them, but Blanchard's was a team that was sort of struggling a bit for a long time. And look at them. Like, James Courtney's qualifying top 10 a lot. Aaron Cameron's second on the weekend. So you just don't have the, it's not like back in the day where you had like LDM and that had older cars and older engines and all that sort of stuff and struggled. Now everyone's got the same stuff. All the drivers are really good. So you rarely, you make one small mistake and you're 15th, 18th. So for these guys to come out and try and be in the top 20 is pretty hard.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it shows too, like, we got a little bit of flack maybe for you guys being harsh when you said that, but then I think Americans tuning in and watching it now would be like, holy shit,
Yeah. We're probably being a little bit kind saying 15th, you know what I mean? Like, it would
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But that was probably being a little bit kind as well. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just super competitive right now. It's so close in times that it's always going to be difficult.
Oh, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, I guess.
Lancaster Motor Group is excited to announce their KTM 450 dirt bike giveaway. From now until the 23rd of December 25, if you purchase 1,000 or more worth of accessories on a new or used vehicle over our 4x4 store counter or in the workshop, you will get an entry into our KTM 450 dirt bike draw. To find out more, head to lancastermotors.com.au.
Yeah, so Sunday was the controversial day, I would say. Maybe a bit. Don't know.
Nah, I don't think so.
Different opinions here, but we'll wait and see. But yeah, obviously qualifying, I think I was 8th. What did you end up?
I was 14th or 15th or something. Dave and I qualified next to each other. I was, we're just pretty useless.
Yeah, right. Far out. That I still can't believe that from Friday for that to happen. But yeah, I was 8th. I think in the shootout, I went 8th as well. The track just got better throughout the session, or I just didn't do a good enough job, whatever, one of the two. But yeah, so I ended up 8th, which was a little bit annoying because I was like, you're 4 rows back then. It's pretty hard to get up there straight away and all that sort of stuff. And I think Brock was done pole and Chaz was done 4th, they were obviously really close to each other. Chaz did a good job to get back in the shootout and keep the championship hunt alive and all that sort of stuff. There was so many talking points going into Sunday's race, and obviously it was kind of between Chaz and Brock, but if anything went wrong for those guys, I wanted to be ahead of Kai to make sure that, I had a shot at winning the championship. But yeah, that was a pretty crazy day. Like I say, the pressure is out of control in these finals formats, that's for sure. So yeah, definitely felt it. I was a little bit out of the game on Sunday, to be honest. Like, I didn't think we could really win it easily. Like, couldn't really win it unless other people had stuff go wrong, which you don't wish upon them. But that's the only way we could win. But obviously the start, Woody gets a mega start out of nowhere. His first one for the year. How crazy was that?
No, I just, you couldn't script it, could you?
I couldn't believe it. Like, generally Chaz gets a mint start and Woody's just blazed him off the line, caught Brock into one. And then, yeah, I guess, I don't know, I'm not sure. I think the turn 6 incident between Woody and Brock, everyone's going to have different opinions. We all know that. If you support Woody, you're going to have an opinion on him. If you support Brock, it's going to go either way. But I don't think Woody throws that move on someone else. I think because it was Brock, Like, even if he got down the inside there, where's he going to go? Is that tight against the wall?
To be honest, I think everyone's looking at the outcome like it was huge, but it's because the wheels are shit.
Yeah, but yes, but
Brock's car was airborne from wheel to wheel contact. Like, they are rubbish, and we've
yeah,
done 3 seasons with them, and no one's really put in an effort to fix them. Like, yeah, they've trialed some new wheels or something like that, but it's actual rubbish. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. The wheels are one of those things that, yeah, like obviously they're not great, but I still think that, yeah, I don't know. I personally don't know if the move was on. Like, I think that it was more because it was Brock. And maybe Brock should have, known he was going to do it and maybe should have let him go. But it's so hard. Like, Chaz would have got him as well where he did it. It's very hard to let him go there and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think the only disappointing thing out of the whole scenario, and I'm not sure if it was the corner before when Woody got the start or what, the Walkinshaw team saying, but was them celebrating. I think, but it's sport. You're in the heat at the moment. Obviously, it's a big deal for the team when that happens to Brock and they know they have a chance at winning the championship. But I think them celebrating was the only thing that was a little bit, I think, disappointing.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. I have different opinions of like, with how the racing's been this year. Like, Woody was actually up a fair way before they even got to the turn-in point, regardless. And it's so easy to criticize this after the fact as well. Like, it's really easy to be a hypocrite.
Yeah.
So, but I think what everyone can learn from is the Matt Payne with the Matt Payne incident at Sandown is quite similar to this one. It's like, why even race at this point in the race? Like, it's like the first lap. Like, Brock's had so much speed across the weekend. He could have lost 4 spots there or 5 spots and still had the car speed to come back through. But that wasn't the thing that let him down anyway.
Yeah, that's right. I think, unfortunately, there's this big storyline about what happened and sort of trying to overshadow Chaz's championship. But at the end of the day, Brock wasn't going to win it no matter what because there ended up being the engine drama. But yeah, I don't know how. Like, I agree with you. It's so easy to criticize it and sit here and all that. And I haven't watched the onboard. Like, I've watched the footage from outside of the car, but you always want to watch the onboard if you can. But yeah, I don't know how Brock lets him go through the staircase. Like, it's not an easy place to let people go. Like, you put yourself at more risk because you get stuck on the outside. You have 3 cars trying to go past you. So I don't know. I don't think anyone. Well, I don't know. I don't think Brock did anything wrong. Because I think it would have been in the moment. It's very hard to let people go through there.
Yeah, and yeah, true. Or he could have done white line or whatever else. But it's like I said, it's so easy in the hindsight of things to look at it. But Brock had a pretty incredible year, and no one's ever going to forget that. And no one's ever going to forget that Chaz, won the championship either. So, but both will be celebrated. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, when the finals came around, WAU turned it up to a different level. They had 2 cars consistently at the front at all times, and the truth to matter, I guess truth to the fact is Brock was always up there running at the front, and you were qualifying, I guess, quite poorly to your own description or whatever else. Not trying to sound like an arsehole, but that's just, you said you can't qualify, and that's what won him the championship. Really, was having those 2 cars up there every single race. It was just actually pretty incredible.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like, it's weird because we kind of say sometimes, like, you're only as good as your last race, because you go back to like Taylor Bend around that time, and Woody was smoked. Like, Woody was up the road and Chaz wasn't going very well, and everyone was saying Chaz isn't having a good year and all of this sort of stuff. And then he gets into the finals, fastest car at Gold Coast, fast at Sandown, wins at Adelaide, and everyone's, amazed. And to be honest, they did a fantastic job. He deserves, like, with this new format, he deserves to be the champion. But it's actually quite amazing how much they did turn it up in the finals format compared to probably what they were earlier in the year. Supercars Travel have just launched the latest round of 2026 official travel packages for the Bathurst 1000, Gold Coast 500 and Sandown 500. The early bird discount still applies. So head to travel.supercars.com.au. Apply the code EARLY at checkout and save 5% off your 2026 Supercars adventure. Hurry, limited early bird packages available.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know, there's been definitely some good and bad things, but I know what Brock's like. He'll go away, go to work again, try to come back stronger. Like, I guess, with what Brock said on the, during the gala, he said he's going to come back stronger. And, I guess he had the night off to think about it. And, um, he'll go away, go to work, come back again, and he'll be tough to beat next season. So, and I
definitely.
think there's been a lot of learnings from this year, I think, for a lot of teams
And
going forwards.
it is a crazy format because I do feel for Brock because, like, even he kind of said it himself. You know, he's rolled up, done everything he can to win as many races as he can, as many poles, and get the championship. It's very tough the first year. Obviously, we'll probably become accustomed to it. We'll know that you don't have to be first in the championship throughout the year to win the championship. You can be eighth going into the finals and still win it, the championship. So I think we'll get more used to that. But yeah, I can understand from his side, first year of the finals format, it would suck to be that strong throughout the year. And then that to happen, like, we're all grown ups, we all know motorsport and there's highs and lows, so he will get over it. But yeah, I don't blame him for being fairly upset over the weekend, that's for sure. Well, on Sunday, that's for sure.
Yeah, just one of those things. But one of the big things, I was actually talking to Woody afterwards, and he was getting a bucket load of social media abuse like after the race, which is a little bit disappointing. I mean, we always want our fans to have a voice and be passionate and stuff, but I probably experienced a little bit this year with the parody stuff and whatnot. But it's quite interesting sometimes when you get like a message from someone and they're always likely from males, above their 40s generally. And you'll see that they'll have like young kids or something that are going through school and they're telling you to go F yourself, or you're an effing sook, or, Woody was getting called like a bunch of stuff. And like, guys, if you're going to send messages like that, just remember about your own kids because they're going through school, probably likely to get, you know, bullied on social media at some point. So, um, yeah, probably pull your heads in a bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit far.
Oh, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, like, I think a few people have tried hitting this on the head or helping with it and all that, but you're never going to. People can just comment so easily and just, no ramifications or consequences. They just say what they want and think that they're, doing an amazing job, and I guess most of the time feel tough or something when they do it. So it is disappointing to see all that sort of stuff, because it is competition, but I guess also from those guys, not that they should say that sort of stuff, but I guess just that rivalry and that supporting one driver and all that. And not that you should say anything like that, but it's amazing to see all the different sides of it and how one person judges it and how the next person judges it. But yeah, I don't think Woody deserves to be absolutely hounded. I think, to be honest, that he's probably in an environment at Walkinshaw that they wanted him to make it hard for us throughout the finals. So that's what he did. Like, at the end of the day, he did what he's there to do, and he did a good job of it.
Yeah, and he was fast as well. So that's just, another thing to add to it. And I think obviously too, from the contacts that Brock and Woody had, obviously you haven't had your briefing yet, but it would have damaged the spindle or something. So sounds like that's why the wheel nut would have not been able to come off, and that's most likely due to the wheel clip, the wheel clip safety being damaged. So it would have been grabbing the nuts as they go on and come off. So I saw that he had 2 issues of pit stops with that. So that's from that incident as well. Which is obviously supercars will probably look into. But yeah, I can't believe the amount of people that were there, how the race played out. I remember telling George before the start of the race, I said, just keep your hand on the radio button for lap 1, and just if there's a crash anywhere, just let me know.
Yep.
And then so I'm going in through, because I'm 14th, so of course I'm half a track behind, and I'm going into turn 4, and all I hear is caution, 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 and half the track's almost blocked.
Yeah. Yeah, I sort of locked up a little bit off because you always get nervous that you're going to end up hitting them or they're going to bounce back out. So, yeah, when I saw Brockett turn around, I was like, oh, far out. You're kidding me. This is going to be a crazy day now. And yeah, I thought that he got back going and that he was, because when I first asked, I think I asked so many laps in and he didn't have the engine drama as bad. And I thought they said he was back up to like 14th. And I was like, oh, well, he might actually be able to get back up to fifth or something like that. And then it wasn't until I lapped him later on that I worked out that something was really wrong with the car. And that obviously that just spindle drivers and all these other things. So, yeah, it was, yeah, obviously a disappointing day. It was crazy how much went wrong in one day, where we, generally don't make those mistakes. So yeah, I'm sure we'll all learn from it, come back stronger next year. But, yeah, it was definitely, I don't know. It'd be great to hear from everyone in the comments and see a little bit of what they thought of the finals. Like, not just bagging it or what, but constructive criticism, I guess, at the end of the day, like why you thought it was good, why you thought it was bad. Because, I think from my point of view, I think it brought a lot of hype. I think there was more spectators, more eyeballs on the championship because, Adelaide meant something. There was 4 guys that could win the championship, where if it was the old strategy, Brock would have won it on the Friday? He only had to get 6 points or something.
I thought he already won it around before.
He might have. He might, to be honest, he might have. So it's like Adelaide, there's not real, like, yeah, you're going there to win, but there's no championship on the line.
Yeah, I think he was more than 300. I could be wrong, but I think he was more than 300 in front at that point. But yeah, I suppose that's sort of how it goes. But apparently there was 285,000 fans
That's crazy.
there.
Hey? It was
So
ridiculous on Sunday, though. Did you have a look when you were driving in on the in-lap how many people were there?
yeah, it was actually ridiculous. Like all the grandstands were full. Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. But they do such a fantastic job there, and a massive shout out has to go out to the South Australian Motorsport Board because they do have a lot of passionate people on there that know motorsport, and it does make a big difference because that event was just off the charts. Like normally, the Gold Coast event was a pretty close. Well, probably the year before the Gold Coast event, I thought was maybe a little bit better, but this year nothing was beating Adelaide, in my opinion.
Nah, that's right. I was a bit worried when it started raining and all that, like especially on the Friday. I was like, I hope it doesn't rain all weekend and ruin it for them and that. But yeah, it's crazy what they do down there and how good it is. But that's a lot of fans to come out, and it's pretty exciting. Like I was actually talking to Brendan Hartley and Scott Speed, who obviously both have raced F1, and they couldn't believe the event. They were like, Brendan was like, I'd actually come here just to watch it. It was that good. Like there was so much on, and it was great talking to them about that and seeing their perspective. And they've obviously raced in the top category in the world. So shows how good of an event it actually is.
Yeah, agreed. And like supercar racing's pretty we race our own goat tracks, right? So, Adelaide we look at it's like it's a big circuit, like it's a minute 19 lap time, or we drive boats. Like
Yeah.
F1 cars do 2-minute lap times and they're 3 times quicker than us around a corner. So, like we can jam a lot of people into a small space. I think it really creates like a vibe and an atmosphere. Whereas like an F1 event, you kind of spread out, you know. So I think that makes like a big difference, and I think it's really cool what we have here at home.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely cool. It's go like Adelaide's the event I would probably go to if I was a spectator to go to any for the year. I'd go to Adelaide. I think there's so much to do there, such a good event. So yeah, that was amazing. But obviously, it's far out. The season went fast. I remember a year ago standing on the roof of my car, being like, "Oh, I won a championship," and now this year's over. It's all done. It's like far out. It just we'll have 8 weeks off and then be back into it.
Yeah, it is. It's I'm gonna enjoy my little off season. I'm a little bit burnt out after mine, but yeah, what a big year. It actually it I don't know. The season was weird because obviously we're a little bit busy at the start of the year, then we had sort of that bit of a break in the middle. But I felt like it ramped up a lot towards the end with the events being close together, and we built like a lot of momentum off of Bathurst, which I think was really cool, and we just continued to keep growing, and the hype was there, which was really cool, and the finals really added to that. So I think it was a pretty successful year for the category, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. No, it's went by quickly. I'm keen to find some form over the off season in my qualifying, and hopefully this forward fast That's obviously a big thing. So that'll be interesting. All the cars going over to the Aero Tunnel. All the crew have flown out yesterday, didn't come to the gala, the guys that are going, and they're getting ready over there to do all the wind tunnel testing. Try and obviously get them perfect. Obviously, we don't want the big parity thing that's been going on, and it's going to be tough with the Toyota coming in to get it perfect straight away again between 3 cars. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. Looking forward to seeing how all that goes and hearing from the guys from our crew that went over there. But, yeah, we've got some big news for next year as well. And I guess one thing we want to say is thank you to everyone for tuning in so far this year. Obviously, we only started this a couple of months ago now, and we thought we'd just do it to try and bring something between rounds for fans and all that sort of stuff. But we're actually going to get a studio, aren't we? Are we allowed to say that, Ainsley?
Yeah, you can say that. Now I
Yeah.
just got to build it quickly, that's all.
Yeah, Ainsley's got to build the studio, so and get the merch. So she's got plenty on her plate.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. It's never a chore, always a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you all next season. And have a safe and happy Merry Christmas, and we'll see you all next season.